take you to the top of those headlines once again. Yuka's here with business, a lot more with the markets and that US government shutdown, of course.
That's right. Asian shares, though, are trading mostly higher this Monday, starting a new trading week on a positive note. The US dollar has dropped against the euro, but has recovered against the yen. Now, this despite, as you said, the US Senate failing to reach a deal to reopen the federal government. Many expect the impact of a short-term government shutdown on the economy to be limited, but a prolonged stalemate could dampen investor confidence, weighing on US and, of course, global stock markets. Now, the ongoing government shutdown may force US officials and perhaps President Donald Trump to skip their trip to the World Economic Forum, which kicks off today in the Swiss Alpine resort of Davos. The president of the World Economic Forum, though, is optimistic the US president will be there and that his attendance will help open up a discussion about more equitable globalization. Trump is expected to deliver the closing address on Friday.
Yes, as that elite gathering then of government and business leaders kicks into gear, NGOs, they really want to put social and gender inequality at the heart of the discussions, don't they?
Oxfam has just released its annual inequality report, which shows the gap between the poor and the rich widening even further. It says that the world's richest 1% raked in 82% of the wealth generated last year, while the poorest half of the global population got no increase. The group says quote, "The billionaire boom is not a sign of a thriving economy, but a symptom of a failing economic system," and calls on governments to crack down on tax avoidance. Take a lesson.
Developing countries lose $100 billion every year through tax dodging that is rooted through tax havens. That is money that should be paying for education of children, health, young people's jobs, but it's all stashed away in tax havens untaxed.
Well, let's have a look at the commodities market now. Oil prices climbing today following some comments from Saudi Arabia.
Crude oil traded higher in Asia markets this Monday, this after Saudi Arabia called for extending cooperation between OPEC and non-OPEC members. At a meeting in Oman on Sunday, the country's energy minister said that cooperation on production should continue beyond 2018 after the deal on supply cuts expires. The landmark deal was agreed in November of 2016 to cut output by 1.8 million barrels per day to fight oversupply. That agreement was initially for just 6 months, but has since been extended until the end of this year.
See how inventories look in the second half before we consider any alterations to our course. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's business as usual.
Now let's turn to South Korea, the upcoming Winter Olympics, already making headlines.
Well, North Korea is officially sending 22 athletes to the Pyeongchang Games, and over the weekend, a delegation from Pyongyang crossed the border to inspect the venues. Concerts and joint training exercises are also in store in the coming days. Now, South Korea has invested around $800 million on new sporting facilities for the Olympic, but critics warn that many of those brand new facilities are at risk of being left abandoned once the games end. Lauren Berstescher takes a look at one ski resort that's been left in ruins.
In its heyday, the Alps ski resort in Hyolri attracted tens of thousands of visitors each year. But now, all that's left of South Korea's former top winter sports destination are some abandoned buildings, unweeded slopes, and rusty equipment.
It used to be the best ski resort in South Korea and was known for its natural snow and weather conditions. Now that the ski resort is closed, all businesses are practically dead. Guest houses and hotels are all in ruins.
The resort abruptly shut its doors in 2006 after the owners went bankrupt due to increased competition from rivals, notably in Japan. A $75 million plan to revive it was recently scrapped after the investors failed to meet payment deadlines. Koo Jae-kwon moved to the village 16 years ago to open an inn and a ski rental shop. He says the closure has cost him around $660,000. And even if he's trying to stay optimistic, His hopes of seeing the resort reopen one day are steadily melting away.
I've left the ski equipment just in case. How could I throw it away when I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars? Maybe one day it will come into use.
The fate of the Alps ski resort raises questions at a time where South Korea is gearing up to host the Winter Olympics. The country has spent over $12 billion on infrastructure, including $800 million on sporting facilities in preparation for the event. But the International Olympics Committee has expressed concern over the lack of future plans for several sites and has asked South Korea to make the Games' legacy a priority.
Well, that's a pretty sad story we just saw there.
Amazing to see all those ruined buildings, because it looks like it was incredible.
It was incredible. Apparently, it was one of the best.
All right, Yuka Roy there with the business on France 24.